what we've gained. As my years grow greater, so does the feeling no goddess of wisdom would sanction these games. Is this why the old theaters fell? Were cooked fire stories so savage and poor without teaching the past? How can we tell if it's monster or goddess that we supplicate for? The forums are filled with chaos and blame, and many have gathered our help to beseech. The soldiers take bribes, and without any shame, they threaten the farmers, dismiss them as weak. So the polity riots, and I have to agree, though I've spent my whole life under vows. If my goddess exists, she's blind to our needs. Nothing holy or mortal will keep us low now. This is how we'll drive our fate. No out-of-touch gauntlet will again be revered. We'll raise our own people who have proved themselves great, and never again will we bow to our fear. He shucked the shell from the mussel, gobbled the meats and smiled and thought of the tubers and greens he had rustled to roast up with beets and steep in a sauce. For days he had wandered and wondered, pondered and plundered larders for lard, but he pondered too hard and hungered again, and so he restarted his feast without end. He napped in the bristles while whistled by bolts and other such missiles, launching or logged some battle or siege or bloody revolt. He finished his meal and started to nod. After so brief a nap of hardly a day, he awoke in a red battlefield. He thought of the visceral waste and decay, but just for a minute, then looked for a meal. For weeks he had wandered and wondered, pondered and plundered larders for lard, but he pondered too hard and hungered again, and so he restarted his feasts without end. Well, something had always confused him. Others abused him, but he just didn't bleed, or let in the spear tips to puncture his skin. He wondered why others felt such want and need. If you really love life, do like him, just don't die. Maintain your mask and deeply breathe in. He tried to tell folk, just refused to comply. If a psychopomp visits, send him to kin. For years he had wandered and wondered, pondered and plundered larders for lard, but he pondered too hard and hungered again, and so he restarted his feast without end. For years he had wandered and wondered, pondered and plundered larders for lard, but he pondered too hard and hungered again, and so he restarted his feast without end. Like a river we flow, and like barley we grow, to reach for the light of the sun. By the burbling brook and the oaths that we took to unite and face shadows as one. When I saw you at first, I took no special heed as you led in the flock from the hills. But when tragedy struck and you rose to our needs, my murmuring heart pushed my faltering will. Like the mountains we stand, and like titans we plan to push against dire designs. Amidst blossoms of gold, with our futures untold, we merge and mix water and wine. As we raised up our children and guarded the flocks, the tribes of the Iron Man swelled. By truncheon or pike, by arrow or rock, one by one we were pushed towards hell. Like the great winds we howl and we rake like the owl who terrifies creatures that creep. If we die in our flight, at least we gave fight and refused to go softly to sleep. But the man-creatures ran and we breathed with relief, though steep was the price that we paid. Filly and foal were screaming in grief, 10 score were the gravestones we laid. Like a river we flow and like barley we grow, to reach for the light of the sun. By the burbling brook and the oaths that we took, to unite and face shadows as one. Like the mountains we stand and like titans we plan, to push against dire designs. Amidst blossoms of gold with our futures untold, we merge and mix water and wine. There stands here a grove where the goddess still reigns. The passing is matched by trial and game, sprinting and hurdles, discus and ball, to greet the new king as his twin brother falls. To mark the pass of the waning year, athletes gather and priests draw near, with sprigs of cypress and mistletoe. The old must die for new to grow. Hey, oh, hey, the ivy and spruce finish the ritual, bring a new dawn. Dance and play and relish the truce between river and rock, cougar and fawn. The running of maidens through Appian Way starts off the games and the king's final day. Children throw flowers, the crowd is a roar. Their feet end up bloody, but pain is ignored. As the Vestal race closes, the first feast begins. A stout satyr waddles with wine on his chin. He opens his throat and velvet notes spring, as if the Green Mother herself were to sing. Hey, oh, hey, the alder and spruce finish the ritual, bring a new dawn. Dance and play and worship the truce between Titan and Godlings, the wolf and the fawn. As the banquets continue, the grapplers walk in, anointed in oil, clad only in skin, to wrestle and struggle and exhibit their skill, a true test of strength, constitution, and will. Hey, oh, hey, pomegranate and spruce, finish the ritual, bring a new dawn. Just today we honor the truce between secrets and wisdom, lion and fawn. Discuses flung from dizzying spins, javelins thud as their heads splinter in. Targets and straw are retrieved for the stage, to build up the flame that will bring a new age. Hey, oh, hey, serpent and spruce, finish the ritual, bring a new dawn. Eternity gazes and blesses our truce between power and ignorance, tiger and fawn. Fully prepared and enduring his rights, the waning king sits as they sharpen the knife. He remembers ascension and his long year was grand, as he readies the crescent moon scepter in hand. Hey, oh, hey, barley and spruce, the ritual's done, we gaze at the dawn. Eternity kneels, blessing our truce between chaos and order, Venus and fawn. Hey, oh, hey, barley and spruce, the ritual's done, we gaze at the dawn. Eternity kneels, blessing our truce between chaos and order, Venus and fawn. to the mountain where the maiden sits with her bow. Amidst the groves of cypress, I begged her for to know. I said, maiden, will you tell me what is on my woman's mind? Can I slay a boar or harpy to put our offering behind? She laughed and left me standing, wondering what I could have said, and to my shame demanding, I hung my weeping head. I went to the mountain where the mother sat and wove, with kids cooing and crying, and a pot hot on the stove. I said, Mother, can you tell me why my woman scorns me so? Can I bring her a fleece or a flying steed, so that she'll let me know? She smiled and turned to her children, calling each of them to heel. She too ignored my question, but shared with me their meal. I went to the mountain to beseech the grizzled crone, who sits with snakes and mushrooms in a gray old shack alone. I said, crone, can you tell me why my woman shames me so? Though I speak clear and loud, I feel shamed and not proud. I'd kill Titan or Hydra to know. She cackled and then said to me, in words so clear and sharp, did you try asking directly before this journey starts? Well, the fox went out on a chilly night, prayed to the moon to give him light, for in many a mile to go that night before he reached the town, oh, town, oh, town, oh, many a mile to go that night before he reached the town, oh. He ran till he came to a great big pen, and the ducks and the geese were kept therein. Said, a couple of you are gonna grease my chin before I leave this town, oh, town, oh, town, oh, a couple of you are gonna grease my chin before I leave this town, oh. Then he grabbed the gray goose by the neck, he threw the duck across his back, and he didn't mind the quack, 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 and the legs all dangling down, oh, down, oh, down, oh. He didn't mind the quack, 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 and the legs all dangling down, oh. Old Mother Flipper Flopper jumped out of bed, out of the window she cocked her head, crying, John, John, the gray goose is gone, and the fox is on the town, oh, town, oh, town, oh. John, John, the gray goose is gone, and the fox is on the town, oh. Ran to the top of the hill, he blew his horn both loud and shrill. The fox, he said, I better flee with my kill, or they'll soon be on my trail, oh, trail, oh, trail, oh. The fox, he said, I better flee with my kill, or they'll soon be on my trail, oh. And he ran till he came to his cozy den. There were the little ones, 8, 9, 10, said, Daddy, Dad, I better go back again, for it must be a mighty fine town, oh, town, oh, town, oh. Daddy, Daddy, better go back again, for it must be a mighty fine town, oh. Then the fox and his wife, without any strife, cut up the goose with a fork and a knife. They never had such a supper in their life, and the little ones chewed on the bones, oh, bones, oh, bones, oh. They never had such a supper in their life, and the little ones chewed on the bones, oh. Monuments cast in long crumbled molds, they tower above with the hatreds of old. Metal that withstood erosion and age needs to fall now to answer our rage. The statues were cast in the flames of dark hate when dragons still ravaged our lands. It reminds of a past we must reformulate, so grab up the rope, hold it tight in your hands. We'll pull down the statues that stalk through our dreams, delivering nightmares and continent screams. We hide till the dawn to hold through the night. So join with us, brother, in our holy fight. Smash down the statues that hunt for our flesh. Bring down the hammer, our quest has been blessed by wizened albinos that rule from their homes in mansions with walls of impassable stone. What do we want? Book burnings to answer our yearnings. The past must be cleansed and never forget. Our final regret was none of us ever had any real friends. So move now, my comrades, my partners in crime. Although we are weak, by mobbing we'll find we number enough, we can force them to see what power can come from a master's degree. Smash down the statues that hunt for our flesh. Bring down the hammer, our quest has been blessed by wizened albinos that rule from their homes in mansions with walls of impassable stone. 2468 will have no debate. This matter too dear to come to a vote. To fight for our rights we come in the night, to sever their heads from their evil bronze throats. Smash down the statues that hunt for our flesh. Bring down the hammer, our quest has been blessed by wizened albinos that rule from their homes in mansions with walls of impassable stone. In mansions with walls of impassable stone. In mansions with walls of impassable stone. In 1893, Hawaii had a democracy, but we fixed that, overthrew the queen, so we'd have place to grow coffee beans. Join hands with me and sing along the words to our people's imperial song. A paradise we took for free to instate the planter autocracy. So get on the board and come on by, see the apple of the Pentagon's eye. 11 bases, 15 billion a year, that will keep us safe, my dear. So mahalo aleichem, aloha salam. Come and tell me when the party's on. If you're a bit chubby, well don't you frown. Our most famous singer weighs 600 pounds. So before the sea rises and brings its doom and traps us in this ashy tomb, take a jet plane here, go for a whirl, see the last green grass of a dying world. So mahalo akbar, you know it's haram to skip the luau on a Ramadan, as Kamehameha himself used to say. You gotta jihad the aloha way. Mahalo akbar, you know it's haram to skip the luau on a Ramadan, as Kamehameha himself used to say. You gotta jihad the aloha way. You gotta jihad the aloha way. You gotta jihad, you gotta jihad, you gotta jihad the aloha way. When I was quite young and old songs could be sung, they told us how we used to brave the harsh light. But we had to run to hide from the sun, for our hubris had earned us this pit-dwelling blight. And our leaders were learned in all the old rites. When they gathered to leave, we prayed that they might bring us back news from the world of outside. Untrained and unguided, our folk had to hide. Our minders would smile, heads up with pride, as they put on their blinders, one on each side, to block and to shade them from frightening rays, to bring us back stories to lighten our days. In the cavern we'd sit, young to the old, after hours in the pit, breathing in mold, for the ore that they'd break from the load, which was packed by our minders in crates, which then rode up a lift through a shaft dug deep in the past, up to the surface, pitted and blasted, where slobbering mutants would take up their prize, a deal we must hold with the folk we despise. This bargain was struck many decades ago, when I was a babe in a crib. These bandits had threatened our city below if we had nothing precious to give. Our protectors then earned their glorious place, taking the burden so we could stay free. Since then they protected and herded our race, and give shows on the wall of the cavern to see. The things from outside they project from a light that beams from a channel bored out up high. Shadows from puppets darker than night dance on the wall, and we learn what and why happens out there, and why the gods act as perpetual scholars. The minders know facts like the size of the earth, 30 miles by 9. How you judge a man's worth by reading his mind. And we drink of the tea steeped by our gods to protect us from fiends like the moon and the stars. I know that the minders are folk just like me, and I wonder what sights sit under the sky. Just once for myself to help me believe, to be sure of the what and to know all the why. So I'll wait till the shadow show's finished, strap moss to my feet and dull my footfall, and then late with light fully diminished and a ration of meat, I'll climb up that wall. Well, I know that the minders wouldn't tell lies, and I don't want to burn in the glare. Though I go without blinders to shade my weak eyes, I'm sure they won't burn out in 1 second stare. So up I ascend into the old land, my friend, I'll return to you soon. I'll tell tales of the waste and hold in my hand a piece that I'll tear from that devilish moon. Who is like God, who treads on the sod and pushes the plow like a serf? And how do you know the seeds that you grow as you scratch for a place on this earth? The cards that he grips with a smile on his lips as you ponder your ponderous plays. Games won one by one until evening has come. There's no time, as you heard the man say. And who is like God, who worries and plods but pushes ahead through the dark? Because others need help and he still has his health, and at times life still feels like a lark. You watch his hand stretch halfway down the neck as he strums. Oh, you wonder and hear each note meet the next as pulled from the frets, tied to a heartbeat and played just as clear. And who is like God, who smiles and nods as his friends gather round him and say, you bind us like glue, and we wish that you could come back and talk to us every day. Pupils and peers gather to hear as he speaks to the crowd from his chair. evils healthier can conquer our fear. Music is needed as much as air. And who is like God, or a bean in your pod, who listens and knows that you care? And he wonders how you write the words that you do, but you both know who helped you prepare. And who is like God, who treads on the sod and pushes the plow like a surf? And how do you know the seeds that you grow as you scratch for a place on this earth? He came from the uplands on a misty day. He said that he came to deliver us from the dark animal gods that had led us astray, by demanding the gift of an innocent's blood. Ride to the south, our just king, and carry your banner proudly. On your return we will sing to greet your triumph loudly. He carried the light and remembered the word, but respected the rule of the rod from up high, until one dark day his faith was disturbed, though given his orders he could not fathom why. The priest of the rod said a town was enthralled by our most evil, craven, and treacherous foe. Though the hero sent missives and attempted to stall, he was ordered to raise the town much to his woe. Though his faith was quite strong, his devotion was true, the hero could not carry his orders through. So he laid down his arms and prayed in retreat, living off nothing but water for weeks, until he emerged to bring truth and hope. And he mounted his horse and rode off to the Pope. Ride to the south, our just king, and carry your banner proudly. On your return we will sing to greet your triumph loudly. He rode till he came to the high papal keep, and barged into the rooms of the Pope fast asleep, grabbed rod, frock, and